Hey guys, my name is Cindy, otherwise known as Candy Apples, but my real name is Cindy Alexander. I'm here to tell you about my Morgellons experience. I've been waiting a really long time for this video. I have to say that I really said one day when I get healed, I'm going to make a video. Because I did say one day when I get healed, definitely going to help a bunch of people. I promise God. In my nights of despair, and I don't even know how to explain it. It was the most horrifying experience ever. I even had hallucinations, and there was actually a demon behind me grabbing my neck. Yeah, I'll go into all that later. This is my introductory video. I'm gonna have a bunch of videos. I'm going to have a bunch of videos about the protocols that I used, what worked and what didn't. Basically, I have kicked this in 9 months. I know that sounds like a really long time. I thought so too, because I thought, when I first got this, I thought, like everybody else, I thought, well, give it a couple days. Like, how often? I mean, when we get sick, normally it just takes a few days and we go right back to work, right back to school, whatever. What do you do when it doesn't happen? Like, you start going through all this stuff. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm making this video because you don't have time to go through all this stuff with this disease. And I don't even want to call it a disease. I want to call it a poisoning. I do want to say that you don't have time. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this whole thing. And I'm putting a website together, and it's going to be like a conglomeration it's going to be like Grand Central Station. I'm going to pull in all the websites onto one website. All the websites I think are worthy and active, that people are using, that people need, and I'm just going to put them on one website. And then I'm going to figure out a way to do, like, for every keyword search, itchy skin or bug crawling, or anybody that's trying to figure out what's going on with themselves, boom, they're gonna hit this website. It's called survivingmorgellons.com, and we're definitely gonna be expanding that, and we're gonna make it happen. We, meaning me, myself, and I, and unless anybody out there wants to help, because I have to figure all this stuff out. I'm a school psychologist. I don't know anything about technology other than what I need to know. So I just kind of jumped in because I don't even know how to tape record the stuff. So I was going to actually have all my stuff with me and say, oh, this is what I used and this is what worked. And, well, we're just going to have to break it down into little chunks like that. Yeah. So I'm just going to basically give you the how it started for me. It's going to sound familiar to a lot of you guys. I'm going to figure out how to upload this too. I also know that people lose interest fairly shortly when watching videos. I don't want to lose anyone's interest, especially if they think they have some kind of parasite or fungus. They need to know. You really need to know. Okay, so I'm gonna do my testimony, but I'm not gonna go like all into detail, like, and bore you and stuff like that, because I'm just gonna try to summarize things. Basically, about 10 years ago, yeah, I was living in the valley of Texas, not California. The Rio Grande Valley. I call it Texico. Texico, yeah, like the gas station. But because, in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, it's not like Texas. It's not like America, and it's not like Mexico. It's kind of its own little country. But that's beside the point. The point is, I was down there. I moved down there for, divorce and kids and all those other reasons. And then all of a sudden, I got this. I came home one night, and itchy, 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 oh my God, itchy everywhere, and I'm dying, and I can't even get in the car to go to the emergency room, and I'm just, all I cared about was itching, 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 itching. And then my friend tells me, oh, I think it's bed bugs. I'm looking for bed bugs, and no bed bugs, no, that's not it, that's not it. My mom, she says, you've always had allergies, just take some Benadryl. So I took some Benadryl, and I took some more, and I took some more, and finally, and I just kept taking Benadryl for about 10 years. And every time I would not take my Benadryl, I would start getting itchies. But then I thought, I thought it was just hives. But if you do your research on hives, they don't even know what hives is. I guarantee you this is hives. I guarantee you that. Because, look it up, Wikipedia hives. There's nothing. Nothing there. So I took some Benadryl, and I just kept taking Benadryl for 10 years. Benadryl. And you know what? I worked at the psychiatric hospitals, and the doctors always prescribed this for the patients when they were up in the middle of the night, med seeking and so forth. The Benadryl help you sleep. Oh, and it did. And I told everybody, take Benadryl and help you sleep. But, I thought when I wouldn't take my Benadryl, I thought, well, it's itching. I need to take my Benadryl. I'm withdrawing, like I thought it was antihistamines. I thought it was overactive histamines, right? It could have been. Could very well be. I have heard some people talking about Benadryl with this stuff. Yeah, I'm still itching a little bit because I still have a little bit of stuff going on. Like I'm sweating. I normally wear my hair up off my shoulders, and I'm probably going to have to do that here in a second. But yeah, this is how it's been basically for the past 9 months, pretty much. Other than being at work. When I'm at work, just kind of hide it. Everybody kind of thinks I'm normal that way. I'm so lucky. It was just right here. It was just right there. So lucky, thank God. Well, anyways, after the itching, for 10 years I took Benadryl. 10 years. Then, for a year and a half, I had some female problems. I bled 3 weeks a month. Yeah, it was opposite. 3 weeks a month I bled. Like it was the opposite for me. 1 week a month I was not bleeding. The rest of the month I bled. I bled so much for a year and a half. Like I had to do district trainings and things like that, and I was bleeding through my skirts and my meetings and sitting in pools of blood and just bleeding and I was wearing these adult diapers, and then finally the doctor was just like, you don't want to get the operation, but you need to get. I didn't want to get an operation, but I had to. So I got the robotic operation. It was like $30,000 operation. Thank God I had medical insurance at the time. But he said that there was this big ball of fibers. Fibers. Anytime I hear fibers, my ding-dings go up. Fibers. Big ball like this. Can you see it? Like this. In my cervix. Your cervix is like this, right? Big ball right there in the cervix. So they went and they dug it out. That was in June of 2017. Fast forward 6 months. We're in December. We're in January of 2017. And that's when all this happened. January 2017. Here it is August of January 2018. Sorry. Here it is August 2018. So, that's when all this happened, was in January. And that's kind of where we're going to go with this. I don't want to bore you guys, but, this is a YouTube video, and you do have the choice of kind of turning it off or just keep watching. I usually keep watching. When I first started getting this stuff and resurfaced, it surfaced. Sorry, I got my popcorn here. I love my popcorn. Chris Sweeney, if you're out there, I want to tell you, you are my inspiration. I watched a bunch of Chris Sweeney videos. That's where I started, Chris Sweeney videos. And then I just started doing research. But let's back up a little bit. Let's do this. Let's say, okay, well, I moved up to Austin from the Valley, and I started this new job, and I was working a lot. And then I was working a lot, and they wanted me to work at like all these hours, and I had to work, overnight. And I realized there's no way I'm going to be able to do this and take my Benadryl. So I stopped taking my Benadryl. And when I stopped taking my Benadryl, stuff started happening. And I'm going to tell you, I did take diet pills. I had diet pills from Mexico that, I took them for a long time. They never seemed to do anything bad to me, but it seemed like this time they did, because I was malnourished. My whole diet was diet pills, Benadryl and cherry Coke. I loved cherry Coke. That's all I drank. That's all I ate. I didn't even eat really. So basically, I malnourished myself, and my body broke. I thought, well, you know, my body. We all think our body's gonna break like in a different way. We don't really expect for creatures to start coming out of our skin, but you know, this we get lucky, I guess, in a way that this happened. You'll hear my story, and you'll see. There is hope. There is hope for you. I attacked this with everything I had. This is not something that you can just take lightly. This is worse than cancer. This is worse than cancer because it's not even glorified like cancer. You know, you get cancer this and cancer that, and oh, you tell somebody you've got cancer, and they're showing up at your doorstep with food and support and money and oh, take your time off, and you know, oh, bless you, you've got cancer. Do they do that for Morgellons? No, they don't. They have no clue about Morgellons. Sorry if you say Morgellons. I say Morgellons because actually what you're going to hear me call it is the morgue, because morgue sounds like death, right? So Morgellons is the death. It's the death. It's the death. It is directly from the devil. I will tell you that. We will go into more detail on that. It's directly from the devil. And I'll tell you this. You will not survive Morgellons without Jesus Christ. You will not. You will not. If you don't know Jesus, you will know him. Because at one point, you're going to be like, I need Jesus. There's no other way. There's no other way. And that's kind of when, I mean, I've always had Jesus. We'll go into that later too. I'm going to stay on track. All right. So basically, I had a dream one night. My dream was that I was at a carnival. And my kids were there. And we were in the different chairs. You know, like the carousel, but it was like round. Like that. And whatever. I was pulling shards of glass out of my skin. I was pulling shards of glass from between my fingers. They were this big. I'll never forget it. Like, I was pulling shards of glass from my skin. I woke up the next morning, I'm like, why was I pulling shards of glass from my skin? You know, well, I had no clue at this time. No clue. Day goes on, and I'm watching my conspiracy videos. I'm watching about Sophia Small Storm and the chemtrails, because there's a lot of chemtrails here. A lot. I always worry about this. So I was watching my chemtrail videos, and then she said Morgellons. I'm like, what the heck is Morgellons? So I looked at Morgellons, and I started looking at all these pictures, and I thought, oh my God, these poor people. Oh, I feel so bad for them. It intrigued me. It was so fascinating. And so I kept looking and looking and looking at videos. Well, in the meantime, I had this zit right here. And, you know, I have a cosmetology background, vanity background, and all this other stuff. I was trying to pop my zit, and I knew that the zit wasn't right. It wasn't popping. It wasn't doing what it should have been doing. I was getting into all these masks and all these chemicals and everything else, and it wasn't working. So as I'm watching the Morgellons videos, I don't even remember exactly what happened, but I know there were some videos about detoxing. I was like, what is this detoxing thing? You know, like, okay, I'll try one of these detoxing baths. Maybe it'll get my zit. And so I started doing that, and I started doing the castor oil. I saw somebody rubbing castor oil all over them, so I rubbed castor oil. And all this really weird stuff started coming out. And I was like, what the heck is this? Yeah, my mom lives with me, thank God, because she's been my total support system. This stuff was coming out of me. I went to my mom's room, and I was like, Mom, look at my back. I had literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like patches of cotton balls just coming out of my back. Cotton balls. Like, Mom, can you pick the cotton balls off my back? I don't know what they are. What is this? You know, I was freaking out so bad. Trying to be a school psychologist at the time. Thank God my boss, you know, she had Epstein-Barr and she understood some stuff, you know, about, like, here in Austin, you say the word parasites, hey, we're cool with that. That's like an everyday language here, you know. They've got a really high mold count. All these people are holistic here. All these people are talking about parasites. Oh my God, it's just like normal conversation. Everybody's out for healing and health, and you see people running. I thought these people were nuts. Now I know why, because you have to be here in Austin with this mold count being the way that it is. But anyways, so on my way to work one day, a leaf came out of me, and I guess, you know, when I post all this stuff, I'll post the pictures. I will have them on my website. They are on the group that I'm in, which is Mold and Morgellons Protocol. I think something like that. Mold and Morgellons. But this stuff started coming out of me, and it was. I would just sit there and watch it come out of me. Just white stuff. Just watch it just rise from my skin, rise from my fingernails. Just more. I just kept rubbing castor oil and castor oil and castor oil, and I saw my own hair. My hair, it would rise out of me like this way, right? Not like this, not like the fibers, but like this. I know why now. It's because I had a coating of biofilm, and the biofilm goes over it. And those little boogers, they were in my neck the whole time. So they were, I don't know, I don't know if they were like little ants just walking down my arm, carrying my hair and saying, it just rose like that. I have a videotape of my hair just rising up. I had a whole bunch of them. I was like, holy crap, this is my own hair coming up out of my skin like this. And then I had a little green thing on me. It was like a, you know, those pipe cleaners, the fluorescent. It was like a fluorescent little green pipe cleaner dude. Yeah, but that was when I was driving on my way to work. Okay, so if you could only imagine, you know, I pulled over. I've got like a stack of Kleenex right here in the front of my car because of all the crap that I pulled off my skin, and I'm saving it. I'm thinking, like everybody else does, I'm going to be sending this off to the lab. I'm going to send this off to the lab. I'm so special. I'm going to send this off to the lab. So, and when the green thing oxidized, he actually turned white, and he has like a little blue stripe on him, and it looked like a little cotton ball. Another one. So I'm convinced those little guys are biofilm. Just biofilm. That's what this thing is. This is like a biofilm overproduction of biofilm. Too much biofilm. Too much. There's just way too much biofilm. Like, I don't even have biofilm problems like some people have. I've got a girlfriend that she can exfoliate her face, and then biofilm will just come back, but just more. And, well, I'll go into that. Okay, fast forward. After I found little critters, everything like that, I'm talking to this guy. I'm not even going to go into details about that. He's not in my life anymore, but he did say EMP, right? I ran across Michael Chapala's videos, and if you don't know who Michael Chapala is, I need you to check him out because it's on Morgellons-Your.com. That's me. I'm the one in the video for that, and that was when my hair was just a lot shorter because I cut my hair off. I cut my hair off before all of this. Ironically, it was weird. It must have been like a brain fog thing. It was like a cosmetology thing. I was trying to make up for what I really didn't know how to do, or I never mastered in cosmetology school. Long story. But needless to say, I haven't been to a hairdresser, and that's been one of my goals, is to go to a hairdresser. But I can't because, you know, I have this big thing. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. There's a hole. I think there's a hole somewhere right there. Right? This is from all the MMS that I spray on it. I've got like little natural orange highlights, whatever. But other than that, I had to like fix my haircut, and I think I did a pretty good job, kind of. But it's not blonde like I really wanted it, and I'm really not photogenic, so you know, this whole doing a video thing is just like, this is a big deal to me because I can't stand the way I look on camera. I don't really look like this in person. Ask anybody I know. Anyways, this guy brought up, you know, EMP. Why don't you get an EMP? If you think it's nanotechnology, because I did. I was watching Sophia Smallstorm. I was watching all these videos, and I thought, I think it's nanotechnology. I think there's a large component of it that is nanotech. So, I kind of passed up Michael Chapala's videos because they were corny and they really weren't that professional. And God bless his soul. Love you, Mike. But you know that the videos. Oh shoot. You know the videos needed a little bit of help. So, but when this guy said this to me, I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. I called him up and I said, and he was so nice. He was consulting me on the phone. Everything's going to be okay. And then I went down there. I went to Mexico and I paid my $350 and I got my EMP treatments. And in the middle of my treatments, I immediately had to run to the restroom and I had diarrhea. It unloosed everything. Everything just went like all over the place. And then I came back and got the remaining treatments. And then, you know, when I went to go do my castor oil rub the next time, I didn't have any of the granules anymore. I didn't have the granules anymore. I'm convinced that, I know that those granules that you get are nano. I know they are. And you know, after doing more research on it, I'll put the links below, but after doing more research on it, they are what is considered shape-shifting synthetic polymers. And if you look at any video for a shape-shifting synthetic polymer, it's going to look exactly like your Morgellons videos, your worms. It's you put your finger up next to it and the little thing just kind of, you know, moves because of the energy that your finger's emitting. So either way, whether they are actual like little robots, which, you know, Mike's got some really convincing stories. You know, I think that there's a lot of little robots inside of us, and either that or they have this transmitter, like just little transmitters. I think they're transmitters, something like that, that kind of form on their own, and they use our electro transmitters in our brains. The neurotransmitters, our magnetisms. You know, we are like one big ball of electricity ourselves. So these little guys are like programmed to be like transmitters, pretty much. So the EMP worked, but the problem is that and we figured this out later, I guess, because my stuff wasn't gone all the way. I had at that point in time I had, like, you know, the staph infection looking thing, the sores on my neck. I went to get antibiotics, and I do want to say that antibiotics are the worst thing that you can do for this. The worst. I've got antibiotics twice, and I'm not just basing this on my personal experience, but I saw a holistic doctor. I saw Dr. Jeff Sendashal, who works under Dr. Tint for diverse health services, and you can find them all over the YouTube, all over the web. That's how I found him, and Dr. Jeff is amazing. God bless his soul. He didn't really know too much about Morgellons, but what he did know, I mean, he put me on the right thing right away. And I'll tell you about that in a second. But that day that I went to go get the EMP, I got on a protocol that day also. I went straight to the vitamin shop and I got all these enzymes. I went to morgellonsshield.com. I'm going to put that site below. I mean, you're talking like maybe just 6 weeks, 2 months into this, okay? I mean, I found out early. I found out from a dream. I started rubbing myself, you know, trying to get rid of the zit, maybe detoxifying. I accidentally stumbled upon these little critters that were coming out of me. So, and I knew. And you know what? I went to a dermatologist here, and she did give me a diagnosis of Morgellons. of course, you know, later on she did tell me that she thought that I needed to go to behavior therapy, and I was like, you know what? I am a behavior therapist, you know? Like, I'm a school psychologist. That's what I do. And knowing that and knowing what I do, I said, well, you know, I really need to cool it down with this lady. Poor lady, she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. They're so stupid. Okay, she diagnoses it. She looks at it, takes a little thing. She goes in and she looks on her little microscope and says, okay, you know what, you've got Morgellons. But they have the same exact protocol for everybody. And let me tell you something. Morgellons is like autism. No one Morgellons is exactly alike. I'm going to tell you that. It's not exactly alike. I think that there's different kinds of Morgellons. I think that it depends on whatever pollutants you have in your system. I'm going to give you my whole synopsis on Morgellons in a second. I'm sorry that I go off on tangents. But I do have to say that I'm currently on about 4 protocols. And they're internal, 4 internal protocols. And I take pills 5 times a day. And I take them in the cups. And I'm going to do videos. I'm going to follow up with more videos showing the cups. And I take cups and cups and cups of pills every day, you know, just like HIV people do or cancer people do, things like that. But it's all enzymes and amino acids and vitamins and things like that. And I do want to tell you that if you're not taking all of these things, you're not going to kick it. If you have to go sell an organ to come up with the money, do that. That's why I'm starting a foundation, because I'm really going to be trying to raise money for all these people who cannot afford all of this stuff, because there's no way that you can kick this without all of this stuff. There's not. You have to look at it from nanotech. It's nanotech, biology, and heavy metals. And you know, in your biology part, it's going to be your bacteria, your fungus, your bacteria, your bugs. Oh, God forbid. That was the most traumatizing part. Yeah. So I got the EMP and I got all my enzymes and everything, and I talked to Dr. Jeff. And Dr. Jeff put me on the very best thing ever, and it's called Interfase Plus, and if you don't have it, I recommend you get it, because it totally got rid of the biofilm. That's what it does. It gets rid of the biofilm that encases them. It's designed to break down the molecular composition of the biofilm, which was really great, because this thing is completely opportunistic, and you have to look at it in terms of break down the biofilm, kill the parasite within, and then eliminate the parasite. Everything you do, you have to think like that. You have to think, break the biofilm, kill the parasite, eliminate. You want to eliminate the parasite as fast as possible, because when that parasite dies, it's going to release all these neurotoxins. And that right there caused me probably more problems than the actual parasite did. And so treatment is different at different intervals. This thing is like an onion. It's like you peel a layer, you get that taken care of, then you have to deal with something else, and you peel that layer, you get that taken care of, you have to deal with something else. So my mom just got home. Mom, I'm recording a video right now. See, I have to say it again. Mom, I'm recording a video right now. Okay, yeah, in my very first video, so I don't want to stop it. I'm like 30 minutes into it, okay? Okay, so we'll talk in a minute. Anyways, and don't listen to me either, then I'll get all self-conscious and everything. Where was I? I have so much to say. I really hope that you don't lose interest. I hope really that you stick with this, stick with listening to me, because I've gone through so much, and I've learned so much, and I really have kicked this thing in 9 months. I was bragging about it a few months ago, saying I kicked it in 3 months, 4 months, whatever. I didn't, and I'll tell you why. So I talked to Dr. Jeff. He put me on Interfase Plus. When I took the Interfase Plus, it was good, but it was not good. Okay, the little critters ran. They ran, and they ran. They were no longer in my body. I had no lesions. I had no nothing. Everything was clear. They went to my neck. Of course, they went to my neck. And they created this nodule, and you guys know what the nodules are. The tumors. To me, I called it an amoeba. I didn't know what it was at the time because it moved. And it was smart. And it ran away from me. It went sideways, and then it went long ways, and it went this way and went that way. And it was like, I guess it was deciding where it just wanted to like set up camp inside the back of my head. It finally decided to set up camp on my brain stem, and you know, I could not move my neck like this. I could not move my neck like this. I could not move my neck. It was right here, and it was just kind of taken over. So I emailed Dr. Jeff and I was like, what's going on? And oh no, I went to the emergency room because I said there's this amoeba inside of me. I need that pill that Chris Sweeney said, you know, that one pill for the fungus because it's a fungus. I know it was like all these little bad boys inside this slimy mold or whatever. And I need the one pill, and I talked to the guy, and I got what I needed, but it didn't work. It actually made it worse. And I talked to Dr. Jeff a few days later, and they were like, no, you need to get off the antibiotics right now. Get off of them because it's just making it worse. They're just going to morph. They're just going to hide. And he said to use the GSE, which is for the topical. So the GSE is like the Interfase Plus, but it's for the topical. So I started doing that, and that's where life got really bad because you know I had to do it. The GSE was grapefruit seed extract. It's from Nutribiotics. It's like the best stuff in the world. It is your best friend. Trust me. On top of like this other stuff I'm about to tell you, but I put the GSE on the nodule on the back. And sometimes my herx reactions would take like 2 hours before I would herx. They would take 8 hours at one time before I herxed. And here I am trying to carry on with a normal job and go to meetings. I remember one day I had the choice of going back to the emergency room or going to a meeting, and I knew that I was on the verge of losing my job. So I decided to go to the meeting. I grabbed an ice pack and put it in the back of my head and sat like this, strapped it to my neck and drove to work like that. But there was a lot of days and nights where I was in the fetal position crying because it hurt so bad because it was on my brain stem. And if you could even imagine, it felt like I had a meat hook in my neck. A meat hook. Just constantly. And then, you know, I would do the treatment and I would get ready. I would just go get in an armchair and just... I cried so many times in the fetal position. It was torture. It was the worst torture of my entire life. It was worse than labor, and I had 3 kids. I did have the epidural. But, you know, the epidural ran out one time, and I felt it. But no, this was like the worst pain that anybody could ever go through. I think it really felt like there was a meat hook on my neck. But, you know, before, you know, I mean, I've gone through, like, I didn't even go into the details about some of the other stuff that I tried. You know, I tried MMS, the whole gassing technique, and I have a picture of that for the MRSA. But, you know, when you go through this, you feel pain in every way. I felt burning, itching, soreness, you know, felt like I just had surgery, pulling. You know, I still feel the pulling. It's the Bartonella. All that stuff. So I had so many nights of that lasted for about 2 months. And so this guy that I got involved with, I had to go. He was like such a loser that I actually had to go drive and pick him up. And I had to go drive from Austin to Albuquerque one night to go pick him up. And it was the full moon. It was like the wrong night to go do this because I was doing my GSE and I knew about the mites. I had cats, and I had a cat and a dog, and they had the mites. I knew about the mites. But this was the worst. That night was the worst night ever. It was when I got attacked by the mites inside the cocoon in my neck. So I took the GSE and I took my thieves oil that I got, and I'm going to put that website below also. It's what is it? mitetreatment.com or something like that. Yeah, that was like amazing. So I was driving and I had my GSE. I kept putting that on, and I'm like, I gotta kill these guys. So I kept like spraying the cloves, the cedar oil, the thieves oil. It was like cedar oil and rosemary, lemon. Sorry about that. Why does that happen? Does it happen to anybody else? I don't even know if this is gonna work. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna die. Because I'm really getting bored of just talking to myself or you guys. I'm not really a YouTube kind of girl, but I would much rather have like people listening to me, like knowing that people are listening to me. I don't know, it's just weird. This whole AI thing is like really weird. But I want to get this message out to you guys. So on that drive, I got attacked by these mites. They just kept following. They just kept dropping. And they dropped all over my arm, and I got, like, I don't think you can see it, but I got, like, a lot of dots. They were just, like, so I actually saw the Morgellons in action, or the Bartonella, or the mite, or whatever you want to call it. I saw it in action, and I felt it in action on my head. It was dropping, and a cop comes up to the window, and I'm like, I've got mites coming out of my head. Yeah. And I just kind of went into a few details, trying to, be as cognizant as I could, without sounding crazy. So I didn't have to go, like, deal with this in jail. Why would I go to jail for sitting on the side of the road, killing bugs coming out of my head? Why? Why would I go to jail? He was asking like a million questions though, like, what is this? Did you throw up? No, I dumped my smoothie out because bugs were falling in it. So, I think you get the message. Next day, needless to say, that was a long drive. It was a long drive. And let me tell you something. I learned them because what happened was they came out, right? And the ones that didn't fly all over me and land in my skin and all that good stuff and sting me, I'm just wiping them all out like this. They stayed in my head, and they just kind of gathered together like a little patch. And if you could feel it, it felt like a scab. But it wasn't a scab. It was just a bunch of those little bastards, just all together, right? And the rest of my neck felt smooth. I just had this patch of these little bastards. I said, okay, they're out. That's good. They're out. We'll just spray them with the oil and kill them, and that's it. Well, that wasn't it, because they decided to come back inside. Yep. And they created the bumps. And then, I get into Albuquerque the next morning, and I've got bumps. Just all these little baby bumps. Just bumps, 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 and bumps, baby bumps. And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? When they get together, they form their little patches. And then you want to separate them. And it itches like hell. Like, it itches so bad. Like, nothing has ever itched so bad in your entire life. But you have to separate them, right? You gotta keep them separated. That's my whole thing. So I've got my glycerin too, and glycerin, that's what Mike Chapala told me also, was to use the glycerin, keeps them separated. So got my glycerin, try to keep them separated, change of clothes, everything else, but I still had to stop on the drive to Albuquerque and pull over the side of the road the next day because I was so tired, and I was in a fetal position, crying this time because of PTSD, because I think I was still dealing with the fact that I had bugs coming out of my head. Bugs. Coming out of my head. Fast forward. I had bugs coming on my legs. I don't know if they were real or not. I didn't look at them very long, you know, like I'm not one of those people that's going to go and take all these pictures of the little critters and post them. I don't do that. I don't take pictures of my poop. I don't take pictures of, like, I did take some pictures of my critters in the beginning because I was like, huh? But I was listening to some videos on, what's his name, Tony Pantalesco or whatever, you know, the herb guy, right? I love that guy. Got a great heart, I can tell. But I ingested herbs. Eucalyptus. I read somewhere that eucalyptus was really good for this certain kind of mold. And you know, along the way, I've looked up all these different kinds of fungus, and I said I had all these different types of fungus. And so I tried eucalyptus, and Tony said do thyme. So I did thyme. I mixed thyme and eucalyptus, and then I did that for about 10 days. And one day I think I did it for like, maybe 3 or 4 times. Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed those two and I put them with vodka. He says, do it with alcohol because alcohol is a good carrier. And I was like, okay. Well, I'm so stressed out and I'm so frustrated. And I think I'll do 3 of them. I'll just do them like all back to back. So I did like a bunch of vodka and herbs. And I tell you what, I am not recommending this to anybody, but the next morning I woke up and I guess the Interfase Plus worked because it took out all the biofilm. And I had the little critters going through my body just without biofilm. And I woke up and under my legs on my mattress, a bunch of bugs. Yeah, a lot of bugs. And you know, like I said, I'm not one of those people that's going to be like looking at them and stuff. I just, holy shit, wiped them off my bed, got the vacuum and vacuumed everything up. I know what I saw. I really do. I really do. It was really not okay. It was not normal. None of it's normal. So, I think I got rid of bugs. I thought I got rid of bugs for a long time. And, still dealing with this nodule on the back of my neck. Oh yeah. I think that might have been before I went to Albuquerque. Anyways, I go pick up the boyfriend and I'm like, okay, let's go back to Mexico. I took the boyfriend with me to Mexico. We went to go see Michael Chipotle again. I said, Michael, I need this device because I need to use it all the time. I don't think that one shot's just going to hit it. I think that it needs to be zapped. And I need to zap this nodule in the back of my head a lot. Because that's all I have. I really, like, I don't have all these problems everyone else. Like everyone else has. I just have this big cocoon in the back of my neck. So, I did, and I bought the machine, and it broke a couple of times. I think I burned it out, or it didn't charge. I kind of gave up on it, but it took me like, you know, a little bit of time to send it back. But this is the 2 months now that I was trying to knock out the nodule. I was in so much pain. And then I finally, you know, called him up and I was like, okay, I need this machine again, let's do this. I just send it to me. Well, he sent it back to me and I got one that worked. And this is it. It did it. You know, you have to line them up. I'll show you when I get it. I'll do another video. Of course, I'm going to do a bunch of videos. You have to line them up. And I had one on the back of my head and I actually had one in my mouth. And I could feel it go boom, like boom, boom, boom. I could feel the whole like boom, boom, boom. I could feel a pulse. Boom. And I just kept zapping it until it stopped pulsing. And then I would go to another section and boom, boom, like that. And, you know, I really think that was the last of, like, the Morgellons. I think that was the last of the Morgellons. I do have to say that when I was knocking this stuff out with the GSE oil in the back of my head, every time it would knock out, biofilm would just and this happened in Albuquerque too, you know, when they, on the full moon, when they came out, the biofilm just seeped out my neck, and it just felt like, I don't know if you, not super glue, but Gorilla Glue. I don't know if you ever, you know, dealt with the Gorilla Glue. I use that to fix my shoes a lot, but it was like cement, really bad, cement, really bad, just like all across my neck, and I literally peeled it for like 13 hours, and it's a race because you have to hurry up and get it off, because while you're trying to get all of this off, it's like forming more biofilm and more junk underneath, and you want to hurry up and get it because you want to get to that. So it was a big race against time. Like, I did not want another ecosystem growing in my head, so I was very, very aggressive about this, very aggressive. And then I got turned on to Sunfruit Dan and his turpentine videos, and I do have to say that when I use the turpentine, oh my goodness, I pooped out like probably 70% of my biofilm. I do want to tell you that if you've never done that, I mean, all of this stuff I was scared of doing, but I was more scared at this point of growing more bugs inside of my neck. So I was very motivated to. It was disgusting, right? Like, I tried the sugar. You know, you're supposed to do the sugar turpentine if you're not having 3 bowel movements a day. There's that if you are. I can't remember. I was not big on eating a bunch of sugar. I tried it a couple times and I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. This, because it's like such a long process, you know. But if you just take like a teaspoon of the turpentine and put it with a teaspoon of the castor oil, put it in a shot glass and go like that. And then, you know, I drink a lot of coconut water with lime. You know, plug my nose. Same procedure as the whole vodka herb thing. Just plug my nose all the time and down it. So that really helped a lot. Oh my God. I was getting so excited about the turpentine taking so much of this biofilm out. And then, on top of taking the biofilm out, when I started on the protocol from the Morgellons group, I do have to tell you, Steve Bennington or Benningfield or whatever his name is, the old guy, he's amazing. I can't believe he put this protocol together. But if you are not on this protocol, get on this protocol. It's called FIRM. It stands for Fenbendazole, F for Fenbendazole, I for iodine, R for reishi, like that's the mushroom powder. I take that at night in my like generic tea. And then M for magnesium. So I'm definitely gonna be doing more videos on like going into detail about all of my protocol and everything. Because on top of the Morgellons Shield protocol, I got on to Logos Nutrition's protocol, and then I started taking the FIRM protocol, and that was all the internal stuff. Oh, and not to mention the one that my doctor put me on, which was all the the vitamins and serapeptase and Interfase Plus and all that stuff. So I'm actually going to be like listing my protocols and everything. You can't do this without taking all that stuff. I'm sorry, guys, you can't. I mean, unless you have the time, unless you have like a year and a half or 2 years. But me personally, I'm not going to grow any more bugs inside of me. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to do that. So I did everything that I could. I actually cashed out my retirement, and I moved, and I got rid of my animals, and I got a new vehicle, and I refurbished my old vehicle. I got all the carpets torn out, new seats, everything. I used my whole retirement to clean up everything, to get away from every speck of Bartonella or springtail mite or slime mold or whatever you want to think of. Yeah, that's how I got it. Like, I was infected in my last house. It had a flood. Like a couple years ago, I was involved in a flood, and everybody's getting floods these days, and I really believe that that's kind of one of the reasons like all this stuff is happening, because this stuff is just coming up from the ground, all this mold, and what lives on this mold is the little mites, and what lives on the mites is the Bartonella. And you know, we had a big rain back in December, and you know, the house shifted again. It was an older house, and it shifted again, and the pipes broke or something. You know, the pipe, it was nasty. It was just nasty. There was rust in the pipes. There was everything, and it was moldy, and there was Morgellons in this house all over the place. It was disgusting. I mean, and they had actually like made a movie there for the 5 months before I lived there, and these people were just like party animals because they left all their crap in the garage and all this stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if they like left Morgellons behind or not, but I did see little Morgellons creatures underneath the pipes and in the corners of the room, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So, I know I'm all over the place, but some people want to hear more about like, what was your house like? Where did you get it? This and that. Some people want to hear about the protocols. Some people want to hear the EMP. I'm just kind of going in order here. So, like, after I knocked out the 2 months, I found the Fenbendazole protocol, the firm protocol with the mold and Morgellons group, and I love it. It's been a couple weeks now, and just in those 2 weeks alone has done wonders. Because when I knocked out that biofilm thing, then what happened was my neck was like Gumby. I really could not move my neck. Like, all right here and right here. I could not move my neck. I could not move my neck. I mean, like, you can even imagine what Gumby feels like. I couldn't drive. I was like, you know, it reminds me of that. You ever seen that movie, Can't Buy Me Love? When that girl's like got the whole neck brace and she's trying to like drink water and she just keeps like banging her chin and stuff on the water fountain. Yeah, that's what it was like. It was like I had no mobility. Because why? Because of boogers. I really want to say bastards because they're such bastards. Let me say boogers. They were just in my muscles. I'm convinced, I'm definitely convinced that Bartonella is the cause of everything. I'm convinced that Morgellons, you've got Morgellons and Bartonella. Morgellons is definitely some kind of a biological warfare that escaped. I've read a lot about it, that we used it in Korea in the 70s. It was housed in Louisiana, and I think it kind of escaped. Somehow got into our system, but you know, it doesn't just take a tick, okay? Because you can get bit by anything, and like when I say PTSD, I have PTSD on insects. Like I'm scared to death to go outside. I will not go outside unless I spray myself down with my thieves oil. Period. Get thieves oil. Go onto the website and make yourself a little mixture of the thieves oil. And just spray yourself down with it before you go outside. Apparently, those springtail mites, like in the old days, that's what they did. They used cedar in their windows. So I ordered cedar from Tibet. That's right, and it goes in. This is when I first moved, and I was like, I don't want these things around. Put it on a little plate. And I light it. Right here. This is a cedar incense burner. And just order these on Amazon. Tibetan cedarwood incense. Okay, in the old days, that's what they did to keep the bugs away. They put cedar in their window sills. So that's what I did too. Well, I was smoking at the time, I'm going to be honest with you, and didn't want the bugs coming in. But I soon found out that, you know, your whole pH levels is like the main reason that we have this problem. So I quit smoking. Like doctors here in Austin, they won't even see you if you smoke. The holistic doctors. And I do have an appointment with, oh God, I have to reschedule it. I do have an appointment with one coming up because I love Dr. Jeff to death, but I'm definitely going to have to see somebody like in person. And now that I'm kind of in the home stretch, I really want somebody to look at like all my metal levels and my hormone levels. And that's another thing, you know, I got a progesterone cream because in my research I found out that, you know, the chemtrails and everything else, they are actually mimicking estrogen at our neuroreceptor sites, and they're called xenogens, right? So our body thinks that we actually have more estrogen than we really do. So what balances out estrogen is progesterone. This is in guys too. This is like one of the main reasons that there's a lot of homosexuality out there these days, because guys have a lot more estrogen than they used to. Yeah, think about that. Progesterone. So I've got this Anazam from Australia, because you don't want to buy like a regular progesterone cream. It will tell your body to stop producing progesterone. You want to buy something that's going to tell your body to produce more progesterone. So I did that. I think that is one of the underlying causes of this whole thing too, because most of the people that have this are women. Men, I don't know, you know why, but most of the people have this, and it started for me with a big fiber ball inside my uterus. And I hear a lot from women about, you know, having itching and burning down there. Yeast infections, okay, so the yeast infection causes fungal infections and candida overgrowth, okay, like I don't know what comes first, yeast infection or the candida overgrowth, chicken or the egg, horse or the cart, that kind of thing. But it all comes in hand. And I know that one of my main things was probiotics. As a matter of fact, I drink these all the time, one a day. Can you see it? I go to Sprouts. It says organic kombucha. And if you look at kombucha is fermented tea. Yeah, from China. So like anything fermented is what you want. I went through eating sauerkraut for like a whole week. Yeah, fermented, like vinegar, you know, apple cider vinegar. That's why they say apple cider vinegar is really good. All of this stuff is like very probiotic, and it raises your you want to get over a 7.0. You want to get some pH strips. You want to pee on it every day. You want to monitor that. You want to say, what did I eat? What caused me to, you know, go up or down like that? So you definitely want to monitor that, because you will not get anywhere if you are still at 7.0 and below. You will not. You will not. You will be spinning your wheels. So make sure you are above a 7.0 in the balanced range on the pH level. And you have to be addressing the fungus, you have to be addressing the biofilm, you have to be addressing the parasites, and you have to be addressing the neurotoxins, because the neurotoxins will definitely cause die-off symptoms that will kill you too. And, you know, I would, like even on my Fenbendazole protocol, I wake up in the morning and I get this swelling, and again, it's like, oh my God, I feel like I've got like that hook in my neck again. Now I know it's neurotoxins. So you drink 8 ounces of water with some lemon and your salt. You know, and of course, you know, you're going to take your bath soaks and all that stuff, your borax and everything else. But I do want to say that glycerin, you put the glycerin on, it breaks them up. They don't want to talk to each other. You know, like, remember when I was telling you, like, when we got together, you have to separate it, and it's just like, oh my God, I never want to feel that again, my Lord. Oh my God. And I do want to say that in those nights that I was dying, from my herxes, from, you know, the nodule. I mean, I promised God, I said, God, please heal me, and I will do whatever I can. I'll do whatever you want me to. I'll get the message out there. I'll work on helping other people. And I've already started. And I will. If I have the money, I'll get you what you need. But I know that I can't save the world. I do have people, that need stuff, and I have sent people stuff. I've sent people magnetic bracelets.